Hey man, you ever look into flat Earth?
Okay, this footage was taken on June 8th. Um, and I did change um, the brightness on the video with the computer to minus 100 as far as the brightness goes.
Look at that, huh? Plane going in front of it. Maybe a MCM one right there. Yep, there it is. That is a tiny little speck. I do have all the lighting turned down. I even have a light filter on with a ND1000.
Okay, the reason I knew about this sunspot because I was watching Sandra's channel, Coolpics P900. And she had this sunspot, and I said, "Oh, cool! We've been waiting for some sunspots to show up." Um, on this particular part of the footage, too, I did lower the saturation rate to minus 100, and the contrast, I think I'm at minus 12. So I did change the contrast on this too. Um, and there's two parts to this video. Well, I wanted to thank Sandra for bringing this up first because it gave me a chance to go out and use this new light filter I bought. It's actually for clear night filter to take away some of the um, light pollution. But I thought it was pretty cool to use it with a ND1000 filter also. Um, and by changing this lighting, I just think it helped pull it out because when I'm looking at this tiny little screen and it's so bright, I really couldn't see it at first. I had to turn down some of the lighting before I actually even seen it. So we're told that these are sunspots coming from the sun itself or that are on the surface of the sun, but I kind of question that sometimes because when we get a star out of focus, sometimes it has this like ring around it, and this is what this kind of gives me an impression of, especially after I did the transit of Mercury across the sun. It just makes me wonder because these sunspots pretty much stay the same shape that they're in, but they move across the surface, they say, of the sun. But what if it's something that's not actually, that it's in front of the sun and not actually on the sun, but it's moving slightly faster than the sun itself? Like I say, I think it's the sun and moon that move, the stars that move, and Earth is stationary, just like a lot of the ancients believed. Um, and I'm sure YouTube will put on their little WikiPedia link to flat Earth, how it was believed in by a lot of the ancient cultures up until the Bronze Age, and then they all got smarter for some reason, or they all got manipulated for some reason into believing in a ball Earth. Uh, you have people out there that are really good manipulators. Now, on this, I left the saturation rate the same. Wanted to just change the contrast and the brightness. So the brightness is turned down and the contrast is turned up a little bit too. Or it might be turned down to -12 again. Um, let me see real quick. The contrast is turned up to +37. And again, what's really cool about this is I started to get some clouds come by, and the clouds actually created a little better filter for me, as you'll see here. And again, I want to stress, I do these observations for others to, think for themselves. They don't have to carry the same opinion that I do. If they do, great. If not, that's fine too. If you want to accept, science, every word, be my guest, but don't, you shouldn't expect everybody to accept it without questioning. And we always should question what science tells us, because how do we know if they're actually giving us full truth? Um, and that's one thing that we got to always consider. A lot of their stuff is based on theoretical science, and they give us their theory, and then it's accepted among the science establishment as fact. We should never accept it as fact. We should always question it, no matter what brainiac or some guy that thinks he's a brainiac, or you know claims that he's much more intelligent than you, so you have to believe in him, because that's what science seems to have come down to, is more of a belief than actual proof. Because again, how do we know that the sun is 93 million miles away? Who measured it? You can't. Apparently, you shouldn't be able to get that close to the sun without melting, but for some reason they're able to get to the sun without melting with their SOHO satellite. They say they got a heat shield on it. Well, the heat shield should melt. Number one, but they say, oh, there's nothing there to collect the heat. Well, the heat shield is an object, so it would collect the heat. Um, if it takes 8 minutes for that sun to reach the light to reach Earth and its heat to reach Earth, then out there it should be much hotter, because it is a surface area. So it should get hot. Again, it's all based on belief, theory, and again, we should all be questioning what science is telling us to believe in. We're taught in school that these are presented as facts, but really, what are facts? So again, is this actually a sunspot on the surface of the sun, or could it possibly be something else? Could it be a star? Could it be a galaxy? Could it be, something invisible to our naked eye that we don't see in the night sky? Um, and it's just passing in front of the sun, making it more visible for us. Again, these are always things that we should question. And like I say, I don't expect anybody to accept my opinion of it, but we all going to have an opinion, and we all should respect each other's opinion. Like the science, one guy says one thing, one guy says another, and they then decide on what's actually fact. But if you don't have actual fact, how can you claim it as fact? So my opinion is a theoretical opinion that this is not on the surface of the sun, that this is something passing in front of the sun. Star charts may show it, some star charts might not. again, it would always depend on your angle too, to where this thing would be located on the sun's surface. Like I did, um, a star. I was doing a time lapse, and a star went behind the moon. But I watched other people's videos of the same event occurring, and theirs came in on a different angle than mine. So depending on where you're at, um, it would change angles. But if we're living on a ball, um, I think it would change angles more dramatically than what it should. Um, so just the way that I look at it and I picture it in my mind, that if it's if we're living on a flat plane of existence, we would still get these angles, but not as big of a difference. And that's what I seen in these other videos, that there wasn't that big of a difference in the angle. So I just have my opinion of it, and I'm going to stick to it. Again, this is with filters and with my light settings set at different settings. So this isn't the actual real footage right from the camera. Again, this has been manipulated with color, saturation, brightness, and contrast. All right, again, for those of you that do question with science, thanks for watching, and I hope you appreciate this. I've been quiet for a while, wanted to take a break, get out of the negative mode I've been in. So again, thanks for watching, folks.